Shalom, Israel. I want to start off, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who teach and rule well at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I titled this one, No City Has Made Peace with Jerusalem. No city has made peace with the children of, with Israel. Salakia. They're you know, since our forefathers, it's been war on Israel. You know, all the other nations have, you know, they've, you know, pretty much to this day, they've unified and, you know, came together and have pretty much furthered the affliction and have, you know, tried to destroy the children of Israel, the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That's the children of Israel. And that's why I titled it, No City Made Peace with the Children of Israel. There's not one, the children of Israel are scattered all over the world, into all four corners, into all nations. Even some of the children of Israel look like the other nations. They look like the Hamites. They look like, which would be the Africans, or the Moab, the Chinese. You know, they look like them, but they're Israelites. How? Off your father's seed. A Negro or so-called Negro or so-called Latino can be with the white woman, with the Edomite. That Negro woman, that Negro man, can have a baby with that Edomite woman. That Negro, the baby, it comes out. That's a Negro child, whatever your father is. Same thing with a Latino. You know, that Latino have a baby with let's say a Chinese woman. The Latino man, the Chinese woman, you know, they have a baby. That baby's gonna come out a so-called Latino. Same thing with Native American. But, you know, Israel is multiplied as the stars of the sky and the sands of the sea. You can't put a number on the children of Israel. But these nations, you know, they've took full advantage of Israel. Put us in slavery, mocked us, raped our families, you know, raped our wives, killed them, killed our children. They've done everything. They've had their way with what you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the children of Israel, that all the other nations have. But you know what? They're going to pay for that. They're going to pay for that. We've been pushed here. We went from captivity to captivity to captivity, all the way until now. Got it hard. You have a few among the nation of Israel, you know, your athletes, your celebrities, you know, got these high paying good jobs, but they're still a slave to their master, to Esau. You Caucasian white people, you know, you don't have no rulership. The rulership, because that's what it's about. That's what a kingdom is about. Rulership. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you don't have rulership. I don't care how much money or how much land do you think that you have. You don't have rulership in this world. You just don't. Anytime Esau wants to come down on you, he will take everything from you, and there is just absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Illegally or legally, they'll get away with it. They coming down and they gunning down Jake's uh um unjustly, incriminating Jake. They done everything in under the sun unto Jake, man. Everything. And then they have this last um they have this last uh chance with their technology that they think that they're gonna be able um to accomplish. And that's that charagma, that CHIP. This is their last chance to try to just take away Jake. The Akim, the elder, he did from Vegas camp, the Vegas camp. He did a lesson on. They're gonna try to blow up the sun. I mean, Salakia. They're gonna try to blow up the moon. They're out of their mind because that the Lord, that's what He said. If they can, if you roughly paraphrasing, if you can, you know, um, if you can take out the sun or the moon, He'll do away with the children of Israel. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You've never been to the moon. They lied about that. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get to the let's get to the scriptures, because Esau has lied, man. Esau has lied, and the other nations have had their piece of the pie with Israel, but they got it coming. But Esau lied about going to the moon, and they've lied about who the real people and who God's chosen people are of this book. They've lied. They've lied about what the Lord looked like. We didn't make it about color. Esau and them made it about color, and they're trying to hide that. The Lord tells you. They made a big deal about the color. We just go off what YAHAWAHSHI says. Thus said the Lord. But Esau, being in rulership, they've lied all these years. Esau, Edom has lied. Idumea. And we're gonna go to Deuteronomy 33 and 29, and it reads, "Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee?" Who is like unto thee of the children of Israel? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you're the salt of the earth. Jake comes out of the roughest, toughest conditions, and they make it look easy. And whatever they put their hand in, they prosper. And they make it look outstanding. The way you talk, the way you dress, I mean, it's at the food. They get it all from Jake. And all these other nations watch Jake very closely. They want to be like Jake, but they don't want to take on the hardship, which these curses. But these curses are they're coming upon on the other nations. The same curses the Lord cursed Israel with, they're coming on the other nations. It says, happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by Yahawah, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And that's what YAHAWAHSHI is. He's excellent, man. His sword, his judgments. There's no flaws in him. Everything is perfect. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee. You see? And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee. This is what Moses is telling in his last days, being in Israel. You know, he telling them, your enemies will be found out to be liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. Call Allah Yahweh by YAHAWAHSHI. And it's coming. And this is Moses, coming out the wilderness. Letting Israel know. And then let's go to we'll go to Psalm 83, and we'll see who those enemies are. He says that you will tread upon thine enemies' high places. So these are the enemies of Israel. These are the enemies of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. These are your enemies I'm about to name. Psalm 83:1. And it reads, keep not thou silence, O Yahawah, O Yahawah. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O YAHAWAHSHI. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. You see, they've made everything possible to destroy Israel and to keep you on the bottom. First to get fired, last to get hired. You live in the worst conditions. You went through all, our forefathers went through all that slavery. Even a handful of hundreds of years ago, 600-700 years ago, getting whooped and beat and stabbed and gunned down, and whatever. They've done away with that Israel. But somehow Israel is still here. 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thine hidden ones. You see that? They've taken crafty counsel against thy people. What people? Israel. Those UN meetings and EU meetings and, these different government meetings. They're crafty counsel to destroy you, Jake. They hate you, Jake. They hate you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They hate you. And the nations come together and find and take crafty counsel. They plot and plan. What can we do to destroy these people, to take them out? Now they done drew up something, like I said earlier, to try to blow up the moon. You're never going to do that. You're never going to take down the moon. You're never going to get to none of those uh, 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 you're never going to get to none of those planets out there. You're never going to go to none of those galaxies. Esau, keep dreaming. Moab, all the rest of the enemies of Israel. You're never going to get there. You're never going to get to those planets. That is for the children of Israel. You know, the children of Israel are going to go out to those different galaxies and, you know, go to those different planets and all that's everything in this universe is promised to the children of Israel, the 12 lost tribes of Israel. You're never going to get, you nations are never going to get that spiritual power. Never. Israel is going to be the greatest of all times. They are the greatest of all times in human history. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And it's going to be manifested here in the end. And even through now, right now, like I said, Israel, they have the toughest, hardest conditions, and they make it look easy. They whatever they put their hand in, they prosper. Esau done put drugs in all the communities, you know, set up all these gang banging organizations and stuff. They done everything, man. Everything. Poison the food, putting chemtrails. They've done everything that they can possibly do. Now they came up with this C-19. You know, then they're gonna try to do this charagma, that CHIP. You know, they're gonna try to do away with Israel, but they can't, because we're the Lord's people. He's only dealing with Israel. 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And if we look at Israel over there with those small hats, those 1948ers, that's all they do is fund them over there and call that the Holy Land. But wait a minute. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Does that look like what they're trying to do? Have they done that? No, because that's a big lie over there. That's a big lie. That's not real Israel over there. That's not the real 12 lost tribes of Israel. See? 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. 6, number 1 on the list, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Edom is you so-called white people, you so-called Caucasian. And the Ishmaelites, that would be you Arabics, that Arabic nation, Afghanistanians and Iranians, Palestinians, all that Arabic nation. That's that Ishmael, the Ishmaelites. Moab, you Chinese. The Arganese. I can't even pronounce it. Gebal and Ammon, you Japanese. And Amalek, you 1948ers. The small hats. The ones that they call themselves Jewish. The Israelis. Amalek. The Philistines. The inhabitants of Tyre. The Hamites. And if you read down, Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Selah. 9. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Syrus, as to Jabin at the brook of Kison. 10. Which perished at Endor, they became as dung for the earth. We'll skip down. Oh my God, make them like the wheel, as the stubble before the wind. See? And though if you read down, that's the those are the enemies of the children of Israel. You other nations. The French, the British, the Dutch, the Japanese, the Koreans, North, South, Iranians. All these other nations are enemies of the children of Israel. So let's go to we'll go to 3. Salakia, we'll go to Zechariah. This is all coming down the pike, man. You other nations you're not gonna get out of this. The Lord he's gonna tear this place up. And it's all being formed too, because he let you know. Let me get that. Let's go to Zechariah. We'll go to Zechariah 12 and 9. And it reads, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem. And who is Jerusalem? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Jerusalem is a people before a place. The Lord told you, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem. And they've all came against Jerusalem. Still to this day, Let's go to let's go over to, let me see, let's go over to Obadiah 1 and 15. And it reads, for the day of YAHAWAHSHI is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Everything that they have done to Israel is going to be done right back into them. You done brought us into captivity to captivity. You done had us work all the hard bondage, all the toughest jobs. We live in the worst conditions, killed our families, killed our wives and children, tortured us mentally, physically, poisoned all the food, gave us the worst educations. Before you couldn't even read the Bible, they'd kill Jake. You pick up a book, they try to kill you, torture you, cutting newborn babies out of the mother's stomach. It shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own hand. Call halal Yahweh. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Salakia. Thine own reward shall return upon thine own head. So everything that you have done to Israel is going to be done to you. We'll close out with we'll go over to, what is that? We'll go over here. Last one, I'll close out with this. Zephaniah 3 and 8, and it reads, Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. And see, the Lord's making that clear. Some of Jake think that they'll be able to overtake these other nations in Esau, with their guns, with their little weapons or whatever they think that they got coming. The Lord said, therefore wait ye upon the Lord. Wait. Continue to do this work and wait upon him and pray and call on the name of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. That's what he's doing right now. He's gathering Esau, Elam, Moab, Amalek. He's got all these nations. He's gathering them. The Russians, all of them. He's gathering all the nations. He said, it is my determined nation. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation. He's going to destroy these nations. He's going to destroy all this, man. The Lord said, it's my determinations. Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Call Allah Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. All that prepping, all that trying to stack and save your money, the Lord said all the earth will be devoured with his fire. Where you gonna go? Where are you going? Where you gonna run to? The Lord he's gathering all these nations for this war, for this third world war. And these missiles are gonna be shot off. And in the midst of that, the Lord's gonna crack these clouds, man. And it's just gonna be punishment upon these nations for what you have done to the children of Israel, for what the nations have done to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. But the only ones that are going to be saved out of this is going to be the elect of Israel. The rest of Israel is going to burn right along with these other nations. So this is what's coming down the pipe. And it just continues to get worse day by day. We're witnessing the last days right now. So, the Lord's going to save the elect out of this. So, I wanted to go in with that. And Spirit hopped on me. But I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah Kwadash. Lord willing, you are edified. I'll come back with another lesson. Shalom, Israel.